I now reconvene to the regular meeting of the Board of Education at 6 p.m. with Hernandez, Cruz, Gagne, Schaefer, and not present. Before we begin, please silence all electronic devices and note that these proceedings are being recorded. Pat?
The board met in closed session from 5 p.m. to 5:50 p.m. regarding conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, a student discipline matter, and public employee discipline dismissal release. No action was taken which requires public disclosure.
Thank you, and thank you everyone for being here tonight. It's a full house. We'll get through as quick as we can. We're going to go to the Pledge of Allegiance. If I could have Mr. Don Bridge please come up and lead us.
If you'll please stand and face the flag. Place your hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Bridge. Moving on to item 1C, comments from our student representative. Ms. Ng.
Good evening, board members, cabinet, and community members. Next Thursday, February 13th, is Student Government Day. Student leaders from various high schools will participate in this exciting event and gain insight on district office positions, City of Chino Hills positions, and Principal for a Day positions. A luncheon will be held at Ayala High School's multi-purpose room to close out this exciting event. For the high school reports, let's first begin with Chino High School. Chino girls basketball defeated Don Lugo in their rivalry games on Wednesday, and both teams are now tied for first place in the Mount Baldy League. Today will be the final league game, and Chino varsity is looking to defeat Montclair to become the Co-2020 League champs. 16 athletes represented Chino High School at the GGG 2020 Women in Sports Conference at the University of La Verne yesterday, and they are proud to continue to support their female athletes. An additional congratulations to Chino Wrestling for becoming league champions. As for golf, it was announced yesterday that the inaugural Cowboy Classic Golf Tournament will be on April 25th, 2020 at Los Serranos Country Club. At Don Lugo High School, ASB is working on their Heart Attack poster for Valentine's Day, which recognizes each student on campus with a heart that has their name on it. Senior retreat is tomorrow till Sunday. ASB is also submitting a video for I Can Help, which is an organization that works to delete online negativity. Don Lugo seniors are extremely excited to participate in Student Government Day. At Chino Hills High School, Chino Hills leadership and ASB are preparing for their upcoming leadership rally, which is jungle themed. Additionally, ASB is planning Valentine's Day activities corresponding with their February kindness activities, such as providing fun activities for the student body, as well as showing appreciation for staff and faculty through flowergrams. Applications for 2021, 22, and 23 class officer positions are due February 18th in the ASB room. On January 31st, Chino Hills basketball player Onyeka Okongwu's jersey was retired at the varsity boys basketball game against Los Osos. His number is 21. The same night, girls varsity had their senior night and celebrated the hard work of their amazing athletes. Congrats, Huskies. At Ayala High School, voting is now closed for the Ayala T-shirt design contest, where students submitted creative designs highlighting the Bulldog Way, which is be respectful, be responsible, and be safe. The winner will be picked tomorrow, and the students who designed it will receive a $50 gift card. The Ayala Rewind Winter Sports Rally took place on January 30th, where we recognized all the winter sports. Additionally, Ayala football and girls golf were both recognized at the banner raising ceremony for becoming league champions. Boys soccer also became Palomar's league champions in their game this week, which was also their senior nights. Congratulations, Bulldogs. Today at lunch, 5 student athletes signed their national letters of intent at the ceremony, and we are proud of and look forward to see what they will accomplish in the next 4 years. Tickets for the annual Ayala ASL show will go on sale next week. We are very excited to see the talented students display their love and passion for ASL. Now let's bring it back to Student Government Day. I would like to introduce 2 students, seniors at Ayala High School, Kasmer Harman and Ashni Patel.
Hi, I'm Kasmer Harman. I'm from Ayala, and I will be playing the role of clerk on the Board of Education. I've always been interested in how the Board of Education operates for the district, so I'm really excited to be playing this part.
Hi, I'm Ashni Patel. I'll be playing the role as superintendent for the day, and also along with Kasmer. I really want to see how the board runs and how the meetings are ran, and I'm really excited. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you to our two guests coming tonight. We look forward to seeing you on the 13th. Okay, moving on to item 1D, comments from our employee representatives. Brenda Walker, ACT President. No comment tonight, okay. Danny Hernandez, CSEA.
Good evening, President Schaefer, board members, superintendent, cabinet, staff, and community. I wanted to first start out by giving a heartfelt thanks to the staff at Canyon Hills Junior High. Last week, I believe it was last week, we had a near fatality at the school site. The principal, Todd Finkbeiner, the school staff, jumped into action and was able to revive the individual twice. She is in high spirits, doing better, but without their quick thinking, we would have been having a much different conversation at the moment. But I did want to start off specifically by thanking them. This past January 31st, as I'm pretty sure all of Cabinet's aware, we received our retro checks, our off-schedule payments, and I wanted to thank each individual of the payroll department that put that together, their hard work, along with Ms. Chin. It is Patty Newton, the coordinator of payroll and benefits, Justin Correa, Dina Leong, Jessica Cano, Terry Gap, Kevin Doe, Vanessa Mello, Lisa Feldstead, Rosemary Cuevas, David Validia, I know I'm not saying that right, and Lysandra Bento. We also had a sub for that time because it was such hard work to get it done, and I know I'm going to butcher the last name, Natasha Buquid, I believe her name is. So I wanted to thank her and thank all of them for getting that hard work done in such a short period of time. And lastly, at our October 3rd board meeting of 2009, I truly believe that we all do better when we all do better. At that time, the compensation increase for the Board of Education was voted down, not pulled. Because we are all together as one, I would like to see how that and make sure that that does come back so that we all do better. Thank you.
Thank you. Tom Mackesy from Champ.
Good evening, President Schaefer, board members, Dr. Enfield, cabinet, parents, community, and guests. Usually I try to say something positive about what is going on with administrators in the district, but tonight is different. I thought about just saying nothing tonight. That would have been easier. Tonight, what I have to say is difficult, but I feel is necessary. I love this district, and I respect all of you board members. You have a difficult job, and I pray for you daily. But tonight, I have to express disappointment. Tonight, I have to talk about fear. Tonight, I have to talk about losing trust. Tonight, I have to say that I'm very disappointed with the situation at Butterfield Ranch. A mob dictated actions. When a mob controls the actions, no one is safe. Not students, not teachers, not staff, not parents, and especially not administrators, who usually feel the brunt of the mob. I'm disappointed in some of the things that were said by members of this board. I'm disappointed with those teachers who put in for a transfer just to make a point. As a former parent at Butterfield Ranch, I am disappointed in the people who are gloating that they took out a good man, an honorable man, a man with integrity. I've heard that you would look into this. I agree. You need to look into who has been spreading accusations and rumors about the principal. You need to look into who has been giving out confidential information to parents that is covered under Privacy Acts. Administrators, like most teachers, do not go into this job for money, prestige, or power. We go into our administration to make a positive influence in the lives of the children at our schools. We love our jobs. We strive to do our best at all times. And yes, we are not perfect. But we can't defend ourselves by breaking confidentiality, and so people make things up or assume that we are not doing our jobs, even though we're spending countless hours trying to solve problems that we did not create. I'm not sure who would want to be an administrator where their every word and action is under the microscope and in threat of being removed. For Chino Valley's hardworking administrators, a climate of uncertainty, fear, and mistrust has been created. In closing, I would like to thank Dr. Enfield for moving the principal to the district office, saving a friend and colleague from, and I'm choosing my words very deliberately, an emotional lynching by a mob created by people who do not seem to want children to experience a 21st century education. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, sir. Moving on to item 1E, comments from the audience on items not on the agenda. We are now at comments from the audience on items not on the agenda. Pat, do we have any requests to speak on non-agenda items?
On non-agenda items.
That was 19? Thank you. Speakers will be called in the order the request is received. Please listen for your name and be prepared to approach the podium. Any comments on agenda items will be accepted during consideration of that item. Once the board has commenced deliberations on an issue, speaker cards will not be accepted. The board is very interested in your comments, but please bear in mind that the board typically does not respond to comments during this time on the agenda, as it is reserved specifically for public comments. Individual members of the board may respond during board comments at the end. Additionally, the board does its best to support the public's right to address its elected officials. It is also important that the board conduct its business in an orderly and fair fashion, as provided in Board Bylaw 9323. In the event that an unusual amount of speaker cards are submitted for any item, the board will hear up to 30 minutes of comments. In the case of non-agenda items, the board can, if it chooses, hear the remainder of the comments after all business has been conducted. Ms. Hernandez, will you please explain the light system?
Speakers, you have 3 minutes to address the board. Limit remarks to new points. Begin your comments at the green light. The yellow light means you have 30 seconds remaining. The red light means your time is over. Please adjust the microphone as necessary. And audience members, please refrain from making comments while speakers are at the podium. And please note that Board Policy 1312.1 outlines the procedure for anyone who wishes to file a complaint against a district employee.
The first speaker is Deegan, followed by James Houston, followed by Kevin Butcher.
Hi, my name is Deegan Colley. I am in 5th grade at Butterfield Ranch Elementary School in Miss Curry's class. I want my teacher, Miss Curry, to come back. Miss Curry is a great teacher because Miss Curry is a great teacher because she teaches us fun activities like making football goalposts and building bridges from straws and pipe cleaners. I like the way she teaches math and online math games we get to play. Please help bring my teacher, Miss Curry, back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
James Houston, followed by Kevin Butcher, followed by Tricia Cawley.
Hello, Superintendent, President Schaefer, and board members. Thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening. My name is James Houston, and I'm a 6th grade student at Allegiance. I'm here to say thank you. Thank you for the time that has been spent at ASA so far. In the past 2 years, the staff, teachers, and principal have been incredibly supportive. They have encouraged and supported my ideas and helped me bring them to fruition, no matter how crazy they may have seemed at first. I have grown as a student, a public speaker, and a leader. Thanks to the patience of my teacher, my math skills have improved tremendously. My Spanish is almost understandable. Our STEAM programs are amazing, and I truly enjoy band and choir. Mr. Superintendent, I would personally like to thank you for inviting our school to be part of your Kindness Initiative. It has been a pleasure to be part of the program. I am grateful for these past 2 years at ASA, and I'm looking forward to my 7th and 8th grade years before heading off to high school. Your support of our school has been very much appreciated. Thank you, and have a great evening.
Kevin
Thank you.
Butcher, followed by Tricia Cawley, followed by Deborah Johnson.
Thank you, Board and Superintendent, but the voters are not happy with the inaction that you took at Butterfield Ranch Elementary. We admire and support the new interim principal, Ms. Warner, who is amazing, and the assistant principal, Ms. Friedman, who is new, is full of passion with our kids. We are confident if we work together, we can bring Butterfield back to greatness. Thank you for the board and superintendent for finally taking action, but the voters are not happy with the slow reaction that you have, and you did not address the concerns on January 16th when the teachers and many people came to this board and asked for action. It did not happen until, unfortunately, we had to stage a boycott and keep our kids out of school. We had 43% of the kids not go to school, which is horrible. We didn't want to do that. But ultimately, the only way to get action was to pull kids out of school. That's horrible. That's not what should be happening. We are forced to send that message. We want to remind the board that we elected you. And really, we only have two that are really supporting us, Andrew Cruz and James Na. Those are the two that are supporting us. The rest of you guys have your own agendas, and I really would like you guys to please address this and please help us. And we want you to be more proactive in the future. Learn from this horrible mistake of non-action and do not repeat this in the future. Huge back of inaction to our school. Students got little surf, teachers suffered, and some even left mid-year. This poor boy was given behavioral support sooner. He would have been able to have been helped, and Miss BC would not be in the trouble that she's in right now. This is a great light card from one of the daughters in Miss BC's class. She misses her teacher. She literally says she wishes that you weren't at home and you were here helping her in the classroom. That is just horrible. So we need to get those teachers and kids supported. Kids need additional behavioral help. They have some of them have special needs, some just have some help. We have a huge billing issue that we need to address. And ultimately, it should not take 6 months or even 5 years to get special needs kids help, because my daughter took 2.5 years and lots of supports to get her the help that she needed. So we are imploring the board to please, in the future, do not do this mistake again. This is horrible. We should never have to do this. Ultimately, we need behavioral aides that are trained. We need these teachers that in the regular classroom to be trained. They need to be trained because unfortunately we're going to have all of these problem kids in the regular classes. We can't just shovel them off to special needs, especially right now when everybody is big about integrating and putting them into the classroom, the regular classroom, to integrate them. The only way we can integrate them is if we have good behavioral support. Good behavioral support is BCBAs that have the training. We really implore you guys to make sure this. Etowanda actually has something written in where basically when kids come into the district, they get behavioral support right away if there is any reason or if they have any diagnosis. And we should not wait months or years to help these kids. We need to bring our teachers back, the teachers that were suddenly let go on the same day that the principal was let go. We need our teachers back. As you heard, Ms. Curry, Ms. Hernandez, we want those teachers back. And we really want to make sure that when Ms. BC hopefully returns, we'll be able to bring her back. Thank you.
Tricia Cawley, followed by Deborah Johnson, followed by Misty Startup.
Good evening. As most of the board knows, I am a very active parent at Chino Hills High School. But what you may not know is I'm also a Townsend parent as well as a Butterfield Ranch parent. So what that means is I'll be here a long time. My son, Deegan, you just met him. He's a very active and intelligent child. He learns quickly. He has an amazing memory for facts and figures, but he is consistently unmotivated and easily bored. This leads to barely average grades and test scores. Miss Curry found a way to change this. Miss Curry's class has one of the highest AR test scores in the school. I'm sure this translates to standardized test scores as well. One of Miss Curry's students won the spelling bee this week. Miss Curry's class has the highest level of participation in both student and parents' activities. All of this is because of Miss Curry. Any teacher can offer student rewards like treasure boxes and treats. Miss Curry, she motivates her students with learning and praise. Students who reach their monthly goals are rewarded with hands-on STEM activities. My son's favorite learning moments have come from activities that are 100% planned and executed by Miss Curry. As a frequent visitor to the classroom, I've seen Miss Curry praise students on what they are doing right while correcting what is wrong. This leaves those students with a desire to please Miss Curry and themselves. She truly believes her students can accomplish anything, and she reminds them of this until they believe it themselves. My son recently completed a 15-page PowerPoint on the state of Minnesota. A few days before it was due, I asked if he needed my help or wanted me to proofread it. He told me, no. Miss Curry said this is not a parent project. My 10-year-old researched and completed a 15-page report on his own. This is the level of education and accomplishment that Ms. Curry expects from her students, and she receives it. Ms. Curry is the type of teacher that this district should be praising, and you should be looking for more just like her. I'm aware that you cannot comment on personnel issues, and I'm not asking you to. I am asking you to take the information that you've learned today and look into this issue. I'm asking you to do what's best for the students. 5th grade is a critical year for curriculum standards. It's not a good grade to pull a teacher out mid-year. It's never good for our students to have a constant rollover of substitute teachers, as we have recently seen on the BRE campus. Our kids deserve the best education possible. As parents, it is our responsibility to do whatever we can to make that happen. I would never come and speak to this board if I didn't truly feel the return of Mrs. Curry is what's best for my son as well as his classmates. I will always fight for what is best for my son and all students. That is our job as adults. I'm asking the school board to look into these issues and to right the wrongs that have occurred. I am asking you to put the students first.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Deborah Johnson, followed by Misty Startup, followed by Dave Denny.
Good evening. My name is Deborah Johnson, and I've been a parent at BRE for the past 9 years and have been witness to our excellent neighborhood school changing drastically. 4 years ago, we lost an amazing teacher to cancer. That same year, our best principal suddenly retired too. And after that, it has been constant change in administration each year. We've been in constant transition with no consistency, leaving a feeling of instability. The toxicity and stress at BRE have had unsurmountable effects on everyone, especially our teachers. Recently, my daughter's teacher left mid-year, which caused an interruption in learning and academic progress. This created confusion for the kids and a feeling of uncertainty. Just a week ago today, one of our 6th grade teachers exhibited stroke symptoms at school and was rushed to the hospital by paramedics. Every child is entitled to a free and appropriate education. However, with constant turnover and a revolving door of subs who don't know the curriculum or grade level standards, this is far from being appropriate. It's impossible for our children to learn effectively when there is no stability or consistency in the learning environment. We now have 4 classes without permanent teachers. We don't have a long-term sub for my daughter's class, and now we have 3 other classes that are also in need of long-term subs. The substitute pool is very limited, and we were promised a long-term sub by admin, but instead our kids had a glorified babysitter. My daughter would come home from school and tell me that he was nice but didn't know how to teach, and that if he didn't know the material, he'd skip it and just give them the answers. He lacked control over the kids and was observed using his cell phone in class and overheard saying that he wasn't paid enough for this. He was supposed to be a sub for 13 days, but after 4 days, he was removed from his assignment. Just yesterday, I saw him on our campus subbing for another classroom. Our current sub is a huge improvement, but she's only there for 30 days. So what happens next? Another revolving door of subs? How can our children learn under constant uncertainty and instability? The recent admin change was a bittersweet victory, as with that news, we also lost 2 more teachers that were part of our family. Our intentions were to support our teachers and promote positive change, but now there is a void at BRE that no one is talking about. We're grateful for our new principal, Mrs. Warner. Her experience and personality have changed the vibe at our school, which was noticeable even on her first day. The administrator is the leader, and they set the tone for our school, which trickles down to staff, teachers, students, and parents. We are starting to feel hopeful for positive change as she welcomes back parent involvement. She's bringing back that feeling that elementary school should be a fun learning environment. Though we have hope that there's still that feeling of uncertainty, which is unfortunate because without our amazing teachers, we have nothing, and our children are the ones who will suffer. Mrs. Warner is amazing, but this too leaves a feeling of uncertainty as she helps us to heal and make our school great again. The next school year will bring about change again with new administration. We already love her and want to keep her, or we want someone just like her that can continue the momentum of healing and growth as we attempt to make our school great again. My hope is for BRE to become a fun and positive place for learning like it used to be. However, we still have a long road ahead, but we're hoping for continued community support as we move forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Misty Startup, followed by Dave Denny, followed by Lisa Juarez.
Hi, my name is Misty Startup. I have 6 kids, 5 girls and 1 boy, including a special needs daughter, and our first grandbaby on the way. I've lived in Chino Hills for 27 years, and I've had 1 child attending BRE over those 20 years. I've calculated between all of my kids that we have had 177 teachers in this district from kindergarten to high school, and it would be more if my daughter was in a regular ed class. Some of these teachers were great, some good, and some not our favorites. So I think we know a little bit about good teachers. Just as my favorite teacher influenced me to become a nurse, my kids have been influenced by their teachers to become a speech pathologist, an special education teacher, an occupational therapist, and an ASL interpreter. Our youngest is still up in the air. My son had Miss Crum last year and absolutely loved her. I volunteered to do Project Self-Esteem and enjoyed working with her once a month. She was a great teacher. It was very sad that she had had enough and decided to leave, but I don't blame her one bit. My son is currently in the 5th grade class with Miss Curry. We were completely shocked that she was suddenly out indefinitely with no explanation. My son came home the first day of school and said, "I don't know, Mom, she's pretty strict." And I was thinking, yay, that's perfect. She's an amazing teacher. She's gotten my son to read and be excited about learning. He comes home on a daily basis, tells me about the things he's learned. Now we're not just focused on soccer and video games. That is a complete success if you ask me. I've dealt with Mr. Bennett. He was the assistant principal at Chino Hills High, sat in on many IEPs with my special needs daughter. He was absolutely worthless. He never did anything he said. He never participated. He never interacted or gave any direction unless directly asked. It felt like he was put out by being there in those IEPs. My point is, he should never have been the principal at Butterfield, and whoever was responsible for that decision made a grave mistake. I knew it the minute I heard it. Even though he is gone, the damage is done, the devastating consequences cannot be rewound, and hundreds of people are left dealing with the aftermath of that poor leadership. Which makes me question, who was Mr. Bennett's leader? The district? If so, I have a few words regarding that and special needs kids and getting the support they need. I've been working with the district 17 years, IEP after IEP. My daughter was bused for 11 years to the Ontario Montclair district because our district didn't have anything for moderate to severe classes, only mild to moderate. When she started high school, she was put in a county class on a district campus, and the feeling you get with that is that the district doesn't want to deal with a county class, as well as the feeling that the district has more important things or people to deal with. That was especially apparent.
Thank you.
With my daughter. Dave Denny, followed by Lisa Juarez, followed by Jim Byers.
Dr. Enfield, President Schaefer, board members, parents, and teachers, good evening and thank you for your attention this evening. For an optimal partnership between parents, teachers, and administrators, there needs to be a clear and transparent communication in all directions. Communication between teachers and parents has been great, but from administrators to parents, work is needed. My name is Dave Denny. I'm a father of a 5-year-old daughter in kindergarten at BRE, Butterfield Ranch Elementary, and a 3-year-old that we hope to send there. We moved to Chino Hills and bought our home specifically so our children could attend BRE. We have learned in recent weeks of many disturbing issues at BRE, such as students assaulting, hitting, and bullying other students and teachers in various grade levels. We learned of these issues through the local news, social media, and other parents, not from the BRE administration, the superintendent, or the school board. This is not acceptable. Even more disturbing, we've been told nothing as to what will be done to address the various safety-related concerns of teachers and parents. I am sympathetic to the position you are in as leaders. I am sure it is not an easy role to fill. However, if we as individuals and a community don't learn from our mistakes, we're bound to repeat them. Here are just a few examples where clear communication is needed and has not been received. Bullying, as I mentioned, is a real issue at BRE and must be addressed. We need specific guidelines and plans to be followed. Support and services for students with special needs are needed while maintaining the proper learning environment for all students. Another example, the attendance policy was arbitrarily changed with no communication to parents recently. And another side note, we've heard nothing proactively pushed out about the coronavirus, yet it could be a very real health concern. I've heard it from other districts and my 3-year-old's Montessori school almost a month ago. When we have asked for information or inquired about plans to address safety concerns, 2 regarding specific instances of outbursts occurring in Mrs. BC's class which involved physical contact to our daughter, we received answers like, I'm unable to comment at this time, safety is our top priority, or appropriate personnel are involved to address the matter. This communication is not transparent, does not show action, and does not map out a plan. This is not leadership. Privacy laws are in place to protect individual students, not to act as a shield for poor policies which put students and teachers in danger. If a change is needed, let's work towards one. Or more importantly, let's work together to figure out a workaround. We are asking for clear communication and how ongoing and future situations at BRE will be handled differently than they have been in the recent past.
Thank you.
Lisa Juarez, followed by Jim Byers, followed by Mary Busher.
Good evening. I appreciate the opportunity to come and speak to you this evening. My name is Lisa Juarez, and I'm a Butterfield Ranch mother. I've been a mother for 6 years with children going to this school. The Butterfield Ranch teachers are amazing human beings. That's my humble opinion. Thank you for letting me share it. I want to speak to you this evening on behalf of a few specific teachers. These teachers have directly impacted my children in a very positive way. Mrs. BC, Mrs. Curry, Mrs. Crum, and Mrs. Hernandez all have had my children in one fashion or another, one year or another. All of these teachers have shown a great interest in the betterment of my children, and I've witnessed it myself. We always, as parents, we had this innate need for our children to have better than we did. I see that at Butterfield Ranch through these teachers. They are the difference in my children's lives. My children both have suffered with attention issues, and it's becoming a more common problem. My son is now at Townsend earning a 3.8 GPA and in accelerated math. He's working hard for sure, but this is a direct outcome from the impact of these teachers. I believe it 110%. All BRE teachers show a passion for the kids. A passion the kids need, and a passion that us as adults and parents need. I'm here this evening to ask you to put these teachers back to work. Allow them to do what they were born to do. Mrs. Hernandez has been instrumental in implementing an IEP plan for my daughter. She did that this year. She's amazing. My daughter needs her role model back. My daughter struggled a lot with self-esteem issues. Ms. Hernandez asked for a dossier on my daughter. I filled up the page and wrote on the other side. She utilized all of that information to bond with my daughter and allow her to bond with her and allowed the process to happen a lot better. She's doing really well. At this moment in time, her progress is at a standstill. Ms. Hernandez is not there. I'm asking you to bring her back for my daughter. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jim Byers, followed by Mary Busher, followed by Jane Lynn.
Good evening. My name is James Byers. I'm a grandparent of a nice young student at Butterfield Ranch Elementary. He's in kindergarten. A lot of people come up and they make complaints. I'm not making a complaint. What I want to do is I want to submit a challenge to the school district. I researched a school, the closest elementary school to Butterfield Ranch is Wickman Elementary. Wickman Elementary's statewide ranking is 496. Butterfield Ranch Elementary is 1,147. I challenged the school district to bring Butterfield Ranch Elementary up to at least 496 or to exceed the statewide ranking of a local school 3.8 miles away, Wickman Elementary. I think that's attainable, and if this district would proactively work with Butterfield Ranch, I think you'd succeed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mary Busher, followed by Jay Lynn, followed by Amy Desmet.
Hi, my name is Mary Butcher, and I'm the mother of 2 girls who are part of the Chino Valley Unified School District. My youngest daughter attends BRE and has been severely impacted by the recent incident that took place in her class. She has lost her beloved teacher, who has been placed on an administrative leave for something I feel could have been prevented and or minimized had the proper supports been in place. I come to you tonight on behalf of all those kids that have special needs and for their parents to give them a voice and to shine light on what is not right in our district. I have firsthand experience with this as my oldest daughter has special needs, to include autism and developmental coordination disorder. As a parent, you want the best for your child, and you never want them to have to struggle. It took much effort on our part to figure out what was not quite right with our daughter. When we came to terms with it and got the medical diagnosis we needed, we thought now that she can get the help she needed, but we were wrong. We got introduced to what an IEP is and dealt with much frustration when told that she wasn't bad enough to require additional support. We went from Butterfield to Glenmead to Oak Ridge, and now finally Country Springs, to have the best fit for her. She needed to be in a place that had the personnel that could deal with kids with similar needs and issues. She needed the additional support of an aide to keep her on task and motivated. This process of finding her the right fit took over 3 years, 3 advocates, 1 lawyer, and a state complaint before we could make things happen. This has all been a learning experience and process and the one that suffers the most is the kids and the teachers. There is a special education department, and there are funds allocated for it. So please, can we help all the kids get the support they need to help them be the amazing and functional humans that they have the potential to be? My daughter is smart and loves to learn, and because of the incredibly slow process that is set in place, she at one point turned into a kid that was fearful and hated going to school, developed bad behaviors, and didn't want to participate in her learning environment. Now that we are finally at the right place, she is engaging more with her world and being a more willing participant in her education. There has to be a way to expedite this process so that kids can get the help they need without having to resort to lawyers and advocates. And I had firsthand experience in my daughter's class of BRE. I saw 2 of the kids who, when you gave them the proper attention, the proper support, they have the potential to be good kids, but they have things that they need extra help with. And it's not fair for a teacher to have 25 to 30 kids in her class that she has to mind, in addition to these kids that need that one-on-one support. They need behavioral support. They need these things. And I feel it's something that's not out of our realm that we could do that for them, but they make this process so slow, and it's just so frustrating as a parent because we had to go through so much for our kids, so that's why I'm even more passionate about it. I don't want other families to have to go through this, especially the kindergarten level. That's where we shape them and they start their careers as being a kid and a student. They shouldn't have to worry about being hit or all these things that happen to them. So I'm just asking you to look into this process. Can we make it faster and smoother so that not everybody has to go through what we had to go through with our daughter. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jay Lynn, followed by Amy Desmet, followed by Stephanie Anderson.
Greetings. I know my name is quite uncommon. It's Jaye Person Lynn, just for the record, and thanks for the opportunity to address this board. I represent Monique Alexander, who was a mother in this district up until about a week ago. And this is a mother that literally took every step to try and get support for her son, her kindergarten-age son. And this is a mother that also has lacked receiving empathy, more so from the parents in the community. This is a mother who had numerous meetings with the principal and vice principal at Butterfield, who requested her son be taken out of that class. That request was met with, no, the teacher wants to work with this child, and made that statement, made that known, and the decision was made to keep this child in this class that obviously had issues with this teacher. And because the child does have special needs, sometimes there's certain people that can push each other's buttons. But what I wanted to express is that the lack of empathy, just how scary it is to get a phone call from the school saying your 6-year-old child has been assaulted, and what a mother who's working miles and miles away hears and thinks in their mind. The report about Miss BC was not made by the child. It was made by another adult at the school, and the mother was informed. The mother reached out to me a couple weeks before this, and I explained to her, you know, we just have to try and get him some more help, and I can help you do that, but things change when you get a call that your child has been assaulted. The Facebook posts that are out there from parents in the district naming the child, talking down on the 6-year-old, the going to the daycare of the 6-year-old, threatening to pull kids out and protest that daycare. So now this child who needed to be at a daycare so they could make the bus schedule to the new school to get the treatment they deserved is no longer available. And so I just wanted to point that out and point out that Miss Alexander is not desirous of any lengthy, expensive litigation, but she is the mother of a son that the school told her was victimized. And I just want people to look at her from that perspective and what you would do if you got a phone call saying your 6-year-old child had been assaulted by a teacher.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Amy Desmet, followed by Stephanie Anderson, followed by Dale Melton.
Good evening. First, I would like to thank the Chino Valley Unified School District for finally addressing the parents' and teachers' concerns regarding the leadership at Butterfield Ranch Elementary School. We look forward to working with Mrs. Warner and Ms. Friedman to create an environment where both teachers and students will receive the support they need to thrive. With that being said, it is unfortunate that such drastic measures had to be taken by the parents in order for this change to occur. I spoke at the last board meeting and voiced my concerns regarding a child in my daughter's kindergarten class who had physically injured other students as well as the teacher on multiple occasions. Unfortunately, a week after the board meeting, this kindergarten teacher was placed on administrative leave due to an alleged incident with the same child. This teacher truly cared about her students and wanted them all to succeed. She was incredibly patient, kind, and had a passion for teaching. My daughter adored her and is heartbroken she is no longer present in the classroom. Following this unfortunate event, the Daily Bulletin published an article regarding the incident and included a quote from the administration that stated, "Providing a safe and secure learning environment for our students has and always will be our first priority as a school district. For those of us who have heard our children speak about the behavior they witnessed in this kindergarten classroom, it is clear safety has not been a priority at Butterfield. The district was well aware of this child's behavior, that he remained in the classroom for months. The district's failure to help this one kindergarten student has resulted in a lawsuit, an amazing teacher being put on administrative leave, the violation of 25 students' rights to be educated in a positive learning environment free from disruption, and the failure to provide a safe environment for both morning kindergarten classes and their teachers. The moment this child inflicted injury on his teacher serious enough to send her to urgent care, he should have been removed from the classroom, if not the school. It is nothing short of amazing that this teacher was able to protect the children in her classroom from harm at the expense of herself. And for that, I would like to thank her. It is unfortunate the district failed to protect her. Moving forward, I hope the district and administration at Butterfield will be more proactive in addressing parent and teacher concerns in a timely manner. If safety is really a priority for the district, please take action to help create a truly safe environment at Butterfield for our students and teachers. Lead by example by following the rules and education codes in the Parent and Student Information Handbook instead of hiding behind them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Stephanie Anderson, followed by Dale Melton, followed by Marion Henderson.
Ma'am, if I could, before you start, we have exceeded the 30 minutes for public comments on this on the non-agenda items. With consensus from the board, we can continue to hear the rest of the...
I have a consensus. Yeah.
Consensus.
I agree.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Good evening, Superintendent, board members, community, and any staff who may be here. First off, I want to say thank you for hearing our concerns at Butterfield and helping to start turning our school back around. But I also want to say I hope you realize that it should not have gotten to this point. Our school's lost several wonderful teachers. This should not have gotten to a point where parents and students had to rally to make a point. I can only hope that not only the district and the board can learn from this, and that in some cases, things need to be acted on in a more swift manner. And not just those in our district, but other districts as well. I hope that our district, other districts see that if something's not right, you stand up for what you believe in, and you work to push for change and work to overcome the obstacles that are thrown in front of you. I thank the teachers at Butterfield Ranch for speaking up and demanding a healthy and safe working environment for themselves and a healthy and safe learning environment for our students. I thank the parents and students for working together to support our teachers and not stopping, keep moving forward to make sure that we get back to the healthy and safe learning environment that all of our children need to be in. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dale Melton, followed by Marian Henderson, followed by Aldo Flores.
I'd like to thank you all for your time. It's much appreciated, and I thank you. I'm here. I've got two beautiful little girls that go to Butterfield Ranch Elementary School, and I know this has been a trying time for our school, our district, and all involved in the current incident. I'm here to lend my support to the teachers at the school and also ask that the parents be heard. We know our kids. We don't want to control the schools or your district, but we can help you with our children and their learning environment. We see what happens when we're not necessarily a mob, but an organized group of parents that speak out. We can get results. When my oldest daughter first started going to BRE as a kindergarten or first grader, she was bused to school. And unfortunately, while she was on this bus, she was being bullied by another kid. Once my daughter brought it to our attention, we also brought the attention to the school administration. Once we brought it to the school's attention, the principal had the bully and my daughter in the same room. They discussed the matter, and the problem was solved. You ask, how was this possible? Because the parents and our concerns were heard and acted on by both the principal and the administration and the district transportation, the bus people. Currently, I'm employed in law enforcement, and I've been so for the last 24 years. And I know for some of these kids that come to these schools, schools are the only source of normalcy in some of these kids' lives. It's the safest part of their day while they're at school. We need to help our teachers succeed because whether we like it or not, they're going to be role models in our children's lives. Currently, some of those role models even attend some of my daughter's award ceremonies outside of school. That's how much of an effect these teachers have had on my kids. They go out of their way to invite their teachers to their events outside of school. We need to ensure that our schools are a safe environment for all, faculty, kids, and anybody involved. In closing, most importantly, I'd like to ask the board, put aside all your political agendas, casting each other's opinions aside, and focus on what the school board should be focusing on, our kids, our schools, and their safety. Thank you guys very much for your time.
Thank you.
Marian Henderson, followed by Aldo Flores, followed by Kathy Osman.
Good evening. My name is Marian Henderson. I'm the school secretary at Butterfield Ranch Elementary School. I've been there for almost 8 years. I have listened to and read all about the trash talking of our school and our now former principal, Mr. Bennett. It is amazing how much damage a bunch of lies and false information can do. And sadly, I've seen this before. I've worked with Mr. Bennett for almost 2 years, and I can assure you that he had nothing but our children's best interest at heart. He's a man of highest integrity and morals with a great sense of humor. He has high standards and expectations for all around him, and clearly not everybody could handle that. Never have I witnessed him be unprofessional or unkind. He believes that every child deserves to get the best education possible and to be treated with respect and kindness. I'm actually grateful Mr. Bennett was removed from this hostile environment he had to endure. He did not and does not deserve any of this. In all this turmoil, he never was concerned about himself, only how it affected everybody around him, especially the students. I wish people would reflect on their own personal experiences with him in our school, instead of listening to gossip and hearsay. The only ones suffering here are the children. They don't understand why Mr. Bennett is no longer at the school. Some are scared to come to school because we have become the circus sideshow of the district, and I don't wish this on anybody else. So if anybody learns anything from this, let it be to never involve children in adult matters. And if your only intent is to come to our school to continue with this drama and turmoil these kids have suffered so far, just stay away and go find something else to do with your life. Thank you.
Thank you.
Aldo Flores, followed by Kathy Osmond, followed by Marissa Murray.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Aldo Flores. I am an attorney, and I am a parent of a student at BRE. In particular, my daughter is a kindergartner in Mrs. BC's class. We came to this community in part based on the reputation of its schools. And as new parents, we came and we discovered that there were a lot of things going on. And we have since learned that our teachers are not being supported. They're not being supported, and in turn that's impacting the education of our children. In particular, we believe that the inaction on the part of the district and the administration put Mrs. BC in a position where she is now. My daughter asks for her teacher. She asks, when will Mrs. BC return? We don't know, and we hope she does. The parents are now contemplating bringing legal action to protect the rights of the rest of the students who are being impacted here, other than the child at issue that brought upon the reason for which Mrs. BC was put on leave. We ask you to please listen. Please take action. Give us an action plan. Do not force our hand. We do not want to bring legal action. We want to work with you. We saw a direct response. Great. You heard us. We seek further action, and we want this to be played out thoroughly. So no more incidents such as these ever occur again, where a great teacher such as Mrs. BC is no longer teaching at Butterfield Ranch Elementary. I welcome a response from this district. We are here. We demand an action plan by the district. We want to hear. We do not want a lack of response. We do not want what happened with the prior principal who is no longer here. With that, I welcome a response on the part of the district. We welcome the new interim principal, and we look forward to working with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Kathy Osmond, followed by Marissa Murray, followed by Tiffany McClure.
Good evening, board members. Yes, technology is still my topic. It's too important to drop it, and I will keep talking about it until we deal with it. We shouldn't be using kids as guinea pigs and in ways that can harm them. We don't know smart boards will harm them. We haven't used them that much yet. But they're a very big piece of technology that has electricity in it of various types. I don't understand it all, but there's a lot of it. I worry about little kindergartners clustered around their board, as they do in the mornings to do their morning activity, close to a smart board. Maybe there's nothing to it, but should we be subjecting whole generations of kids? We thought cell phones were great, and now we've found that people can get addicted from them. There are social problems, there's bullying, there's suicide. It may be that cell phones are part of the problems we have today, understanding each other and getting along. I'll leave that one up to you, but it seems quite highly possible. And there are physical ramifications from using cell phones too much, thinning the brain and the frontal cortex, where you have perception. And we know children have trouble listening to things auditorily and reacting from them. There's no proof, and I would really encourage the board to encourage our administration to make sure that there really is educational benefit to doing a technology immersion. We've heard lately that there's really no proof that it's better with technology than without. And since there's no proof that it's better with it, or at least I've not heard it, maybe we shouldn't use it in such a whole hog fashion to have an immersion, to have kindergartners with one-to-one Chromebooks. Maybe we should let it be, as the new movement is, wait for 8th, and do the immersion, as they are in several LA County schools, using an immersion but starting at 8th grade. We do want children to be ready for the 21st century, but why not wait until very vulnerable young children have come to interact well with each other and have learned reading and other basic language skills? Thank you.
Thank you.
Marissa Murray, followed by Tiffany McClure, followed by Monique Alexander.
Good evening. My name is Marissa Murray, and I'm here to speak on the behavior of the Ayala High School Athletic Director towards the Ayala Color Guard team regarding use of sharing the gym for practice times. I need to start with just a moment of background. Last year, Ayala had a World Guard team that was ranked 8th in the country. The band director submitted requests through School Dude to try and get one practice time a week in the gym. Mr. Reed denied all of these requests in favor of basketball practice from 1:15 to 8:15 Monday through Friday. He told our coach that gyms were made for basketball teams. Multiple times during our Monday rehearsal in the NPR, our coach would go down to the gym only to find it empty. We shared these videos of the empty gym with Mrs. Yarboy, and we were then granted a few hours on Mondays, but not until our season was practically over. A high school gym is the venue in which a color guard competes. We usually practice in the NPR, but our team skills have grown exponentially in the past few years. This team is being denied the opportunity to compete at the highest levels because they cannot get practice time in their high school gym. Back in October, I called Mrs. Yarboy and I asked her if we could please be proactive and address the use of the gym before the winter sports season started. She told me that the athletic director and band director needed time to collaborate. I again expressed my concerns that Mr. Reed would act in the same way that he did last year. I contacted Mr. Trost at that time, the band director, and I let him know that according to the facility request site School Dude, the gym was available. He submitted our request for 2 evenings a week from December through March, and Mr. Reed denied all of it. I emailed Mrs. Yarboy with screenshots of what School Dude looked like before we submitted our dates and after, as Mr. Reed had gone ahead and scheduled the gym for this time, Monday through Friday from 1:30 to 9:15 p.m. and Saturday now from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. for basketball practices, thereby blocking out any other group from holding a practice in this space. This team was then forced to find somewhere else to practice. So there was a play being performed in the NPR, and we still cannot use our gym. So we went over to Woodcrest, and they let us use their gym for 2 nights a week. But we had to haul all of our equipment in a trailer and find transportation for our 28 team members. All we are asking is for 5 hours in the gym a week, Wednesday evenings from 4:30 to 9. We are asking for the athletic director to not be responsible for scheduling the time allocated for the gym. He has shown bias towards sports teams and has continued to discriminate against the World Guard team of Ayala. The team is responsible for a 12th place win nationally at Bands of America competition in November.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tiffany McClure, followed by Monique Alexander, followed by Peter Atwood.
McClure. I'm actually the color guard mom for Ayala High School color guard team. And so basically my concern is the same as Marissa's. I just want to add to that. We came to the district last year with a request that was made to us by Mr. Reed with regards protecting the gymnasium floor. Our band director, Mr. Carolian, came and got a $15,000 approval from the district to purchase what is called a 1-inch tile to cover the entire gymnasium floor to protect it from our equipment as we use the gym. So I just wanted the district to be aware that currently your tiles are sitting in a bin on the back end of campus not being used because we can only use them when we are allowed at the gym. In order for our team to be successful, we will need to compete or practice in a setting in which we are accustomed to competing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Monique Alexander, followed by Peter Atwood. Monique Alexander, followed by Peter Atwood.
You ready?
Hello, I'm Monique Alexander, Chance Alexander's mother, the parent that the student that everybody's so enraged about. I just want to point out that Chance is 6 years old. As a parent, can you imagine being 53 miles away? I work in Santa Monica, and getting a call from the principal saying that your son was assaulted. And then my son gets out of school, by the way, at 12:30, 12-ish. I didn't get a call till 2:30. So once again, that's a big issue. And not to mention, it was reported by another teacher. He didn't come home and tell me this information. I didn't get it by way of another parent. Another teacher reported this incident. In the meantime, I'm now dealing with the parents of Butterfield Ranch Elementary School attacking my son to the point they have found out where he goes to daycare. He no longer can go to daycare. The academy that my son was placed in, the Brief Academy, my son can no longer go to this school that was meant to help him because of the parents of Butterfield Ranch Elementary School. Prior to this, in December, I asked for my son to be removed from this teacher's classroom. It was told to me by the principal and the other faculty that the teacher requested that Chance stay in the classroom and that she can work with him. So that raises a red flag to me that, number one, a week prior, on the 15th of December, I wrote a letter to the school district human resource department telling them that my son is told that they don't play with black kids by the students of the school, of the kindergarten class. Then he is made to sit at the lunch benches during recess with his head down. So let's not forget that while we're going through all of this, and I'm saying it was more than one person victimized here, let's remember that he's a 6-year-old son, and I'm a parent of a 6-year-old son that has special needs, and I'm aware of those needs, and I've done everything possible to help him with these needs. But let's remember that he's 6, and he still lives in this community. And while you're outside with your posters and with all your other stuff, let's remember that he's 6. And my heart goes out to Miss BC. But in that moment, she had a right to walk away. She should have walked away, and that's not what she did. So let's remember that he's 6 while you're out picketing and you're out posting, and now he's out of the school, and it's still a problem. I have tried to do everything I can possibly do. He's in therapy. He's on medication. I have tried everything.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Peter Atwood.
Well, first, I need to serve more Manfield with the federal process, which but it's important to get it to watch. Anyway, the judge said it had to be served in person, so I done what the judges said and served you in person. The situation with this case is really over a few $100s of help for a certain kid, which the district wants to interpret a settlement agreement in such a way as not to give him a few $100s worth of stuff. Well, we've had a lot of motion work. After we lost at the Office of Administrative Hearings, here the mom is, and it is literally a federal case. That is how determined this district is to deny help to kids with learning disabilities who need help. And I didn't know about this party before I came here today. I just had my own business. And I don't know anything about it, but this I do know, that kids get violently treated by teachers and stuff like that, and it's covered up. And teachers get violently assaulted by kids who are mostly not getting the help that they need, and that's why, and that gets blown off too. So you got some mad teachers, and you got some mad parents, and you have some traumatized kids, and they're all right. Because you have a special ed department which is determined to deny kids the help that they need. So everybody gets ripped off. Anybody who thinks that this is a contest between teachers and parents is mistaken. That's like in the bad old days when people made it a contest between black sharecroppers and white sharecroppers. The people that were ripping them off were the common enemy. They didn't get this. That's what it is here. You're ripping off teachers, you're ripping off kids, and you're ripping off parents because you will spend all kinds of money on lawyers in order to do kids out of what they need. If you were indifferent, if you just didn't care, it would go so much better for these kids. But you work hard and you spend lots of money on lawyers. That's why it is how to serve this federal paperwork. Because you are dedicated to making sure the kids don't get to what they need, and you'll spend all kinds of money on lawyers to do it. Now I wish the 5 of you would think about that and see if it makes any sense.
Thank you.
Priscilla Iglesias.
Pat, what was the name? I'm sorry.
Priscilla Iglesias.
Thank you.
Hello, good evening. I am a parent at BRE. My daughter, Paige Steinmetz, is currently in Mrs. BC's class. Now, because of everything, of the incident that has occurred, my daughter is considered a problem. And as adults and educators, problem is not the proper term for children that need or in need of special needs or behaviors or disabilities. Now, Mrs. BC has been a wonderful teacher. She's been patient with my daughter. She's always motivated, always positive. And for her, as I see, for her to want to take these children that many would consider a problem shows what type of educator that she is. Because just because you have a degree does not make you a well educator in this system. And I truly believe that teachers can be trained more in dealing with children, or not dealing, but addressing any incidents that might happen with children that have these special needs and acquire this extra special attention. Now, this child had a teacher's aide. Where was the aide at that time? We have this. I have another child who's in special ed, who is in a special ed class, who I removed from Butterfield Ranch because at that time there was no funding, there was no need for that. But I know as a district, you guys are doing what you can to help these children. But as for my daughter, she saw the incident and it just kind of, she saw that it wasn't right. But as parents, we need to take responsibility as parents for our children's actions, and we're the ones that have to tell them and instill in them the behaviors that are appropriate and not at school.
Thank you.
Okay, that concludes public comments. Thank you, everyone, for your comments made tonight. We're going to take a 5-minute break. Mr. Knopf here. Okay, we're back. Item 1F, changes and deletions. We are now at changes and deletions. Pat, are there any changes or deletions?
None.
Gotcha. Moving on to item 2, action items. Item 2A. We are now at the first action item, which is 2A1. A public hearing and approval of admissions preferences stated in the Allegiance STEAM Academy Thrive Charter Renewal Petition. Recommend the Board of Education, A, conduct a public hearing regarding ASA's 5 admissions preferences, and B, approve the 5 admissions preferences stated in the Charter Renewal Petition dated January 6, 2020. And now open the public hearing at 7:16. Are there any speakers, Pat?
We have 2 speakers. Troy Stevens, followed by Callie Moreno.
Good evening, staff, board members, President Schaefer, Superintendent Infield. I'm Troy Stevens, founding member, lead petitioner, and current board member for Allegiance STEAM Academy. In 2017, a small group shared a passion to bring Allegiance Academy to the Chino Valley. We wanted a school of choice in our community where families had an alternative option for education for their children. We had a vision of being able to create a partnership alongside CVUSD to build a school that we all could be proud of. We always wanted to make sure Allegiance felt that they were a part of the school district. And today I can stand here and truly say I feel like we're a part of the school district. With that said, while writing the original charter and discussing with CVUSD, we both agreed having preferences that favored the neighborhood and the district students was a top priority. We wanted to establish the preferences for the neighborhood in which ASA would call home. Our idea was to give the surrounding neighborhood students a promising chance to be a part of our program, as well as other students outside the area an opportunity as well. As the student enrollment grows each year at Allegiance, I am also most proud of that the interest grows even more. Allegiance is a special place, and we are thankful for given the chance to bring the vision alive with the backing of CVUSD over the last 2 years. We currently have over 500 students who have applied for open enrollment this year. Looking ahead, as our enrollment increases, we are excited to know that Allegiance will continue to serve more students. In closing, as a board member, I am proud of the relationship between the school and the district that we have created in such a short existence. As a founding member, I couldn't be more proud of where the school is academically and excited to gain even more resources year after year to provide an even stronger academic program for our students. As a father of a current 5th grader and a former 8th grader who now attends Ayala High School, I couldn't be more proud of the education, the services, and the experience that Allegiance has provided both of my boys. I'd also like to thank the CVUSD staff, legal counsel, and Superintendent Infield for their recommendation on approving us for another 5 years. We are humbled in your belief in us, and we are grateful in this chance that it has been given to our stakeholders and our families of Allegiance. I thank you for your time, and I look forward to working side by side with you for many years to come. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Callie Moreno.
Good evening, Superintendent Enfield, President Schaefer, board members, and staff, community. I am going to speak for just briefly on our admissions preferences. I would like to echo my gratitude for Superintendent for your recommendation and staff for our renewal. The admission preferences at Allegiance help Allegiance to reflect the larger community. Our demographic data shows this. Our Latino and Hispanic population is at close to 60%, Asian 20%, white 15%, African American 5%. Our free and reduced eligible population is at 30% currently, and special education around 11%. Our admission preferences were established in collaboration with you, and that collaboration has just gotten stronger over the last short year and a half, 2 years. We seek to be intentional about our policies, programs, and experiences to remain transparent and inclusive in our organization. As the Director of Educational Programs and parent of one very spunky wolf at Allegiance, I'm really grateful to be here, and thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you.
Any other speakers, Pat?
None.
Seeing no other speakers, I now close the public hearing at 7:21. Now for a vote on item B, I have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Nah, second by Mr. Cruz. Any comments? Mr. Nah, go ahead.
Yes, I'm so delighted tonight. I have high expectation for our school district. I want to move our school district to be top in the state. And as I walked on our charter school's campus, I couldn't see no difference. You all had high expectations of all the children. They were short, small, tall, just well mixed, and they loved school. I saw the passion from the teachers, and I saw the passion from volunteers. I have heard a special ed child who could not speak in the beginning of the semester. Now he's able to speak and have a conversation. I call it a great success. I really liked administration's team there, led by Mr. Sebastian there. You led by example, servant leadership, where everybody's open to talk about everything, and it was all about the kids. I even told him that I wish I could see this charter school in every school district in California, and I meant it. I also heard from a parent whose name was Luis Angel that it frustrates him to see that why would our charter school has to come for renewal. They should have given us 100 years. And I would say amen to that. So I am more than happy to see your success, because it was my dream and it was my prayers, even years back. So when we have gone through fire with that school, now finally we came in a good fruition because of everyone's participation. So I hope and I expect you would have a shoe-in support from our board. Thank you.
Mr. Cruz?
You know, Allegiance has been working hard with difficult challenges. Through humility, transparency, and accountability, Allegiance is an integral part of our beautiful community. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from board? All right, we will vote. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Preferential?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-1. Moving on to item 2A2, public hearing and adoption of resolution 2019-2020-35, Allegiance STEAM Academy Thrive Charter Renewal Petition. Recommend the Board of Education, A, conduct a public hearing regarding the ASA Charter Renewal Petition to consider the level of support for the petition by teachers employed by the district, other employees of the district, and parents. And B, adopt resolution 2019-2020-35, Allegiance STEAM Academy Thrive Charter Renewal Petition for a term of 5 years, beginning July 1st, 2020, and expiring June 30th, 2022. I open the public hearing at 7:25 p.m. Pat, are there any speakers?
3 requests to speak.
I'm sorry, 3?
3 requests to speak. Vanessa Okamoto, followed by Claudia Reynolds, followed by Sebastian Cognetta.
Good evening, Superintendent, Dr. Enfield, President Schaefer, and members of the board. My name is Vanessa Okamoto, and I'm very grateful to be here tonight and to speak in favor of the renewal petition for Allegiant STEAM Academy. I would like to begin by thanking Dr. Enfield and the district staff for recommending approval of our renewal petition for a 5-year term. It's hard to believe that just a little over 2 years ago, on December 14th, 2017, I stood up here as a lead petitioner for Allegiant, seeking approval for a school that was only a mere vision. It was a hope and a dream that you helped to turn into a reality. I do remember asking for the CVUSD board to help us mark that night as the beginning of something truly amazing. I stand before you today fully confident in saying how true that has become, and once again thanking you for everything you have done and continue to do to support and work with our school. Initially, my greatest motivation was spurred by what I believe to be one of the greatest roles I will ever have in my life, which is that of being a mom. Being a mother of 4 completely different individuals and seeking a high-quality education that worked for each of them and their unique needs was my challenge that Allegiance aimed to resolve. Presently, I am proud to be a witness of my children's daily successes of individualized learning at work, and most importantly, just how incredibly happy they are. It's a program where they, along with many others, are thriving. I am especially so proud beyond words of my daughter with special needs that continues to receive appropriate services and just tremendous support in her personalized learning environment. When I first heard the mission statement of our current SELPA for our special education program, I knew it was the perfect fit for Allegiance. It reads, "The relentless pursuit of whatever works in the life of a child." This resonates very strongly within me, but more importantly with our special education program here at Allegiance. It is a program I witness daily that works tirelessly to pursue whatever it may be that will work for the life of each child. Here at Allegiance, we strive for 21st century learning, where we adapt to meet the needs of our students, each and every one of them. One of my more recent roles that has ignited a whole new passion for me is that of an educator. I feel truly honored and privileged to have this role and to wake up each day being able to do a job I honestly just love. Where my initial goal may have been prioritized by my own children, today I am an advocate for this program for all children that seek it and believe it to be the best for them. This is not a school that has or will ever seek to be better than any other, yet we will always strive to be the best for those that choose to be a part of this community. This is why I'm asking you, the board, to vote in favor of our renewal petition tonight. We have done so much in so little time, yet this is truly only the beginning. Please allow us the opportunity to continue to serve those who matter most in everything we all do, which is our children, by voting yes for Allegiant STEAM
Thank you.
Academy.
Claudia Reynolds, followed by Sebastian Cognetta.
Good evening. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself. I am a board member of the Allegiance STEAM Academy. I am also a parent of a 6th grader at Allegiance STEAM Academy, and I am also a teacher at Ayala High School. When I became aware of this school, I was so overwhelmed with joy, thinking, is this really a school that's going to open? And I was quickly researching and finding out a lot of things about it. As a parent, I truly believe that ASA meets the needs of my family because I have been able to choose the most appropriate learning for my child, and the environment in which the school runs, it's beautiful. As an educator, not only have I witnessed the hard work of the amazing teachers and the things that they do, but I have seen also how the kids have grown. And every time I go there, the kids are doing something that's meaningful in their lives. And that is so important in today's society. And I wanted to let you know that I am so grateful that ASA is part of the education option here at Chino Valley Unified School District. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sebastian Cognetta.
Good evening. It's nice to see you all. I just wanted to share that I've been reflecting on our relationship, and I find it unprecedented. It's clear we're co-creating a model authorizer charter relationship. It's striking the right balance of space for innovation for a charter school and direct accountability to the public. With about 85% of our students residing within the district and over 75% of our staff having attended, worked in, and/or having children attend Chino schools, it's clear we represent and appreciate the values across this community. Allegiance is deeply rooted in this community. We're honored that the opportunity to continue to serve this community is supported by district staff and families. Thank you for that. To continue to prepare students for the excellent programs that await for them in Chino schools and the Chino high schools and broaden their horizons with promising STEAM-related fields available to our students is one of our greatest privileges. Just today, NASA visited us. They did drive their rover over all of our kids. But I think of that moment and what it might mean for a child, putting them on a trajectory to go and change the world, to change and colonize the solar system. And I know moments like that are happening across the district. It's an honor to be a part of that and offer those ourselves. Our commitment to you is to continue to build a program that's a source of pride for all of us, along with those names behind you. We thank you for your time and your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it. Thank you for your comments. I now close the public hearing at 7:32 p.m. Moving on, item B, may I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Nah, second by Mr. Cruz. Comments or questions? Mr. Nah.
Wow, that was one of our top Spanish teacher at Ayala High School. I didn't know now she's your board member. Thank you for that. I visited her classroom, and it was an awesome experience I had with her, watching her teaching with full of passion. But I also remember our former OPA parent here, but also our parent here 2 years ago. I said, what would you like to do it for your life? I know you are raising your children. And you said, I don't know, I'm thinking about becoming a teacher. And I said, you should do that. And I remember vividly, now you're a teacher. Matter of fact, I went to your classroom a few days ago. So let's have you stand up and let's give you a hand. Stand up, please. It's Okimoto. So proud of you. See, at any age, as long as we're teachable, we could change our lives. We could change our lives. And there's two ways to go about it, the negative way and a positive way. This is the positive way. And this is where we have Mr. Kangnada there as your mission field, overseeing all children and also your staff members. This is how the system is going to grow, with honor and transparency and truly caring for the next generation to come. We have lots of tasks to overcome because we have some crazy people at Sacramento keep sending us wrong demands and commands. But this is time that we need to stand up as a parent, as an adult. And I think you guys are doing that well. So thank you.
Mr. Cruz?
Yeah, you know, Doctor, I was fascinated what you said, to go to the stars. What you're actually saying, a culture that's pro-human, a culture that's life. And that's what you're instilling in your school. So I really love that, what you said. Good job. Good job.
Seeing no other comments, we will move the vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Me.
Preferential.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-1. Now move on to item 2B, 2B1. It's a resolution 2019-2020-33 of the Board of Education of the Chino Valley Unified School District of the County of San Bernardino, California, authorizing the issuance and sale of its 2020 general obligation refunding bonds in an aggregate amount not to exceed $45 million and approving certain other matters relating to said bonds. Recommend the Board of Education of the Chino Valley Unified School District of the County of San Bernardino, California adopt Resolution 2019-2020-33, authorizing the issuance and sale of its 2020 general obligation refunding bonds in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $45 million, and approving certain other matters relating to said bonds. Are there any speakers?
No speakers?
With no speakers, may I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Ms. Hernandez, second by Ms. Gagne. Are there any board members that have questions? If so, we have Mr. Robert Barna of Stifel, Nicholas and Company. Should we have any questions regarding the bond refunding? Ms. Gagne?
I don't have any particular questions, but I would like to thank the individuals who came here this evening for preparing a very comprehensive report on the bond and the obligations. I think the school district is doing a fantastic job of implementing the bonds. One of my goals is always financial stewardship, so in taking the task to review all the materials, someone read them, so thank you for their preparation. I know that you put a lot of work into that. We're headed in the right direction, and I think that this is a positive step to make sure that as we continue to move forward in our bond process and our obligations, that we continue this level of stewardship, so thank you.
I'd also like to add that Ms. Ann Ronlin of Norton, Rose, and Fulbright, our bond underwriters, here should we have any questions. Any other questions from the board?
I just have a comment.
Mr. Na?
I'd just like to thank our cabinet members. We have top-notch cabinet members who's working on not only for the numbers, but our curriculum and facilities. So thank you for your excellent skills being shared with our students on our campuses. Thank you.
I'd just like to make a quick comment. For those that aren't familiar, refunding the bond is like refinancing, and as interest rates or conditions become more favorable to the district and the taxpayers, we have the opportunity to save money on some of our bond obligations that are out. Dr. Enfield, what's the amount that we anticipate saving off of this refunding?
Greg, I'll let you answer that one.
The anticipated savings is about $2.1 million.
And this is not the first time we've refunded this obligation, right, the Measure M obligation?
That's correct. This is probably the fourth time now.
Okay.
For an overall savings of over $23 million over the 30-year period.
Thank you. And those savings go directly back to the taxpayer and reduce property tax rates, correct?
That's correct.
Thank you. Seeing no further comments, we will take a roll call vote as required by California Government Code Section 53635.7. Ms. Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. Cruz?
Yes.
Ms. Gagne?
Yes.
Mr. Na?
Aye.
And I am a yes. Motion passes 5-0. Preferential.
Yes.
Sorry about that. Moving on to item 2B2, Resolution 2019-2020-34 of the Board of Education of the Chino Valley Unified School District of the County of San Bernardino, California, authorizing the issuance and sale of its general obligation bonds, election of 2016, Series 2020B, in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $275 million, and approving certain other matters relating to said bonds. Recommend the Board of Education of the Chino Valley Unified School District of the County of San Bernardino, California, adopt Resolution 2019-2020-34, authorizing the issuance and sale of its general obligation bonds, election of 2016, Series 2020B, in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $275 million, and approving certain other matters relating to said bonds. Are there any speakers? Seeing no speakers, may I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Hernandez, second by Ms. Gagne. Board members, once again, Ms. Ronlin and Mr. Barna are here to answer any questions. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, we will take a vote. It will be a roll call vote as required per California Government Code Section 53635.7. This action does require a roll call vote. Ms. Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. Cruz?
Yes.
Ms. Gagne?
Yes.
Mr. Na?
Aye.
And I am an aye. Motion passes preferential.
Yes.
Almost. Motion passes 5-0. Moving on to consent, we are now at consent. Pat, do we have any speakers on consent items? Board members, do we have any polls? Mr. Na?
No polls.
Mr. Cruz?
No polls.
Ms. Hernandez?
No pools.
Ms. Gagne?
No polls.
And I have no polls. For the consent items, may I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Gagne, second by Ms. Hernandez. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Preferential?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. We're now at section 4, information. Item 4A1, San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools, Williams findings. Are there any questions from the board? Seeing none, we will move on to communications. I would just like to throw a quick caveat out as we start our communications from the board. As a reminder, we heard from several parents and community members tonight regarding issues at one of our campuses. Please remember that we are prohibited from by district policy and California Ed Code from commenting on pending personnel matters. Please be mindful of this during your comments. Mr. Cruz.
You know, I heard our kids, our school, our safety. You know, community is a very powerful word. When community pulls together for a united cause, the power becomes unlimited. The change, the transformation is quite amazing indeed. Just FYI with coronavirus, you know, we've been hearing a lot about that. There was Dr. Boyle, author of the Biological Weapon Anti-Terrorism of 1989. He believes that the coronavirus is an offensive biological warfare weapon. He also underscores that the vaccine have been developed for this regardless of what's being claimed, and no one should trust anything being probable contains live instance of the coronavirus. You know, SB 623 would have allowed parents to thoroughly review what the children are being taught about sex ed, and sixth grade students would need permission slips for sex education. But SB 673 was voted down. So, you know, I ordered the book. And this is the book that was approved from Sacramento. The good thing about it is that the community removed it. But like I said, if you look at these headings, they talk about bodily fluids and something called blood play. So it's just the idea that topics that are brought up in such a young age that it is totally inappropriate, especially during those times when they're developing their identity. You know, Eric Erickson talks about identity versus confusion during this age. You know, when you really think about this, this is a form of abuse. And it's nice that there are people out there that are discussing about this. And, you know, the sex ed should have never been voted. It should have never been voted. President Schaefer, you know, there's a concern with the baseball field in Chino. There's unstable plates and, you know, the restrooms are closed. So, and there's some cement issues pertaining to the Chino baseball field. So it's something that we should address. And also in terms of the color guard issue, we should also look as well and see how we could support them. Thank you.
Just as a quick note before we go, the issues over at the Chino High School baseball field are being addressed. They've been brought to staff's attention. Thank you. Mr. Na?
Yes, I have heard from an Ayala parent about sharing gym. I think that's a quite important issue for our color guard team there. So, Dr. Enfield, could you please maybe look into that situation and see if we could find some mediation?
Yeah, I'm very aware of this situation, have been in contact with the principal during the whole time.
Great, thank you. And even though I could not make any comments, but congratulations to all the parents who showed up from Butterfield Ranch. I heard you loud and clear, and I'll be there for all of you to support our kids. Thank God I have graduated from all my schools, and most of you guys have done so too. But for adult matters, kids should not be involved and shouldn't be hurt or being sacrificed. So let's work together, being on the same boat, and help out all the children. And I'll do my best to look at the practice that has taken places in other districts and see what could be more swift and effective governance in this school district. Thank you.
Ms. Hernandez?
There was a parent who mentioned that we hadn't done, or the district had not done, our due diligence regarding coronavirus. And as a parent, I received notification on January 28th. So, Dr. Enfield, can you ensure that it was a Butterfield Ranch parent? Can you ensure that that's gone out?
I can assure you, we've sent out a number of communications. I'll just have to follow up with the school to make sure they got all that
Okay.
information out. And we also have it on our website. We've been in constant contact with the state regarding that and
Right.
getting all the updates.
I agree with you, because as a parent, I received it, but since there was an indication that there was a communication lapse, I just want to make sure that it did go out, especially at that school site. Regarding the Ayala High School gym, I will just say that, yes, we saw emails that were already addressing the matter, so thank you, Dr. Enfield, as well as Chino High School. Thank you, Mr. Stachura. The only thing I will say and acknowledge about the majority of the speakers tonight is Mr. Hackney's statements. Because I agree with you that every employee should be free of fear and should feel supported, and that there should be trust. That's at every level. Administrator, educators in the classroom, support staff, our clerical staff. But for me, this has always been, from the start, about the children. It was always about the child that was being brought up, about the children in that classroom, the allegations that were being made of fear, of safety concerns in that classroom. So for me, it was always and continues to be about the students, and somewhere, somehow, that got lost. But I may not have taken the stance that a couple of other board members took, because I'm not the one about the applause. I'm not here for applause. I'm here to tell you that there are things, and I said it at the January meeting, there were things that were being done. There were things that were already in motion that couldn't be discussed and should not have been discussed from this dais. And that happened. But any of us could have made comments in order to receive the praise and the applause. But some of us aren't here for that. And I will take the boos and the negative comments, and I'm okay with that, because I've been doing that for 7 years. So I'm just here to write out the next 10 months, and whatever it is, don't look for my name on the ballot. It won't be there. So, the threats about the votes, I'm okay with that. I served my purpose here. I was honest to parents from the start. I was honest with teachers from the very beginning. I got booed by teachers once. It happens. But I'm here to tell you that for me, it has been about the children. Specifically in this case, about the one child and the children in that classroom. So, there are things that got magnified, got amplified. I didn't hear about anything in November or December. I first learned about this in January. So for those who claim that we ignored, that there was nothing, I've looked through my emails. I looked back I keep track of every speaker that shows up to that podium. There were no speakers from Bree in November. There were no speakers in December. When it got brought up in January, I immediately started asking Dr. Enfield questions. He had already gotten the ball rolling for both sides. So it wasn't as though nothing was being done. And I want to clarify, you know, everybody wants to find the scapegoat. There isn't one in this case. Everyone did what they could within the parameters provided. There's limitations by the state. There's limitations at every level. And so I just want, that's all that I'm going to say, but I'm not going to shy away from the fact that things were being done. When it was brought to our attention, we did take action. We started asking questions. There were things that were being done, maybe not at the speed individuals wanted, and maybe not, and maybe what added to it was that we couldn't say anything. And for those that did say something, that was inappropriate, because there are privacy and confidentiality laws on both sides. So with that, good night.
Ms. Gagne.
Well, first I'd like to thank the Student Government Day participants who came this evening to introduce themselves, and I look forward to working with them in next week. I'd also like to thank our student speakers, Deacon and James, who came in and spoke on various issues. It takes a lot for students to come in here and get up at that podium, so I want to appreciate that you came here and said your piece to the board. Just in terms of the Chino High baseball issue, there's been a couple logistics issues at our campuses this week. They have been immediately attended to. There's already a resolution path. Some of it's already been resolved. For example, the bathrooms are open. So as we track our emails as a board, we ask for updates, we get updates. So as those issues come, we immediately try to work with and amplify those issues. So just wanted to let you know. You know, I could say something that is like politically opportune right now, but that would be irresponsible, to be honest with you. There is the privacy of several different individuals at play here. There are teachers, there are students, there are administrators. In respect to all of them and in fairness to all of them, I'm not in a position to comment. So I'm not going to comment. I don't want to harm anybody further. Clearly, something happened in this situation that was not according to the plan that everyone had for a school year at a campus. And we can investigate that, which we are. There's an independent investigation. That's all we're really able to share. So we're looking at that situation and trying to come up with lessons learned. And those lessons learned will help us to carve a path forward. But what I want to endorse is, because clearly there has been a lot of miscommunication, there's been sort of a huge amplification in the last couple of weeks, is that we can move forward trying to work together and come to a resolution and understand that, yes, there's a process. I admit that it's not going as quickly as some stakeholders in the situation would like it to. But we need to move forward positively, because this is about students. And whether it's the rest of this academic year or the next year, I think we all can agree we want what's best for the students. We want to stabilize any of our campuses that are having an issue and make sure that moving forward, the students have a stable, productive, and fun learning environment. So that's really all I can comment. Again, you know, I could start saying things that would make people feel better, but that, again, would be completely unfair to everybody involved in this situation. I do appreciate everybody coming tonight. I know for all of you getting up here and sharing concerns about your children and what's going on, the things you have to face at campuses and at home is extremely hard. So I appreciate that. And again, you know, I want to be as helpful and supportive as possible, but I want to make sure that we're working together in a team environment, not in a contentious one. Thank you.
Thank you. There's not much I can add to what Ms. Gagne said. The investigations are underway, and it's time to let those take place. And hopefully we can all come together and look at the conclusions that are drawn from these investigations and work towards some positive changes if they need to be. But it's just too early to say anything right now, and it's not wise to put an artificial timeline on this. It's going to take some time as things are investigated. So we just ask for your patience. I too would like to thank Canyon Hills, the office staff, the administrators, Mr. Finkbeiner, for their quick and life-saving response in the medical emergency we had in the office at the school. I'd also like to thank the Chino Valley Independent Fire District for their rapid response. It's nice to know that the trainings that we put some of our staff members through kicked in, and we had a great outcome. I'd also like to congratulate Canyon Hills Junior High for being selected as a 2020 Schools to Watch campus. This is an honor reserved strictly for junior high schools. It's a very prestigious award, so Mr. Finkbeiner, his staff, and students are to be commended. It's an honor that is through the California League of Schools. Attended a few things since our last meeting. Chino Hills 55 Plus Club, their veterans group, dedicated the new military monument in honor of all those who have served and are serving our great country. If you get a chance, it's located at the community center on the east side or the west side. It's a beautiful monument, and it does honor all 5 branches of our military services, including the Coast Guard. I also attended the Ayala High School VEX Robotics Tournament. If you have not been to one of these tournaments, I encourage you to go. Our high schools, usually Don Lugo, Ayala, I'm not sure about Chino, but they host these tournaments, and they are incredible. The teamwork and the innovation that goes into these robots to perform these tasks is incredible. While I was at Ayala, I also went over to the gym. They were also hosting a wrestling tournament that day. When I bopped in, it was actually the female wrestlers. And let me tell you, there was some dang good wrestling going on, and I watched for a little while, and it was great to see districts from all over participating in a program that our school and our district was sponsoring. I also wanted to touch base on February 1st. The district had its CHET 2020 seminar. It's the Chino Education and Technology Seminar. It's, for the most part, presented by our staff for our staff, and there was a lot of great information shared as far as technology and the use of technology in education. One of the highlights for me was the student showcase. There were some folks from Ayala's engineering program, from Hidden Trails. I forget what they call their program with the little bots, but there were some great projects that the students had put together, and that was nice to see. Yesterday, I sat in as an observer on Mr. Shachura's Measure G Oversight Committee meeting. I had the chance to just kind of bop in and listen and see what was going on. I would just like to take this opportunity to thank all of the members of the Oversight Committee for providing their volunteer time to this well-required and valuable oversight function, so thank you. As far as committee reports, nothing from ROP. We haven't met since our last meeting. Chino Hills Parks and Recs, the only big thing is they elected their chair and vice chair for the year. And then something that Council Member Moran touched on when she was here last meeting, Omnitrans is scheduled to shutter certain routes in Chino Hills. Some of those routes are used by Chino Hills High School and Ayala High School students to get to and from school. I would encourage you to go to Omnitrans's website to find out what routes are going to be impacted before next school year. Nothing should be happening this year, but those changes will affect the transportation for those campuses next year. And finally, please join me in a moment of silence for former adult school student Alex Sayago, who passed away in December at the age of 22. If we could have a moment of silence, please. Thank you. I now adjourn the regular meeting of the Board of Education at 7:59 p.m.